We are starting off Terrific Tuesday with the best way ever, laughing and cartoons and humor and friends now. I love hearing about like your friendship that developed. Like breakout room friendships are now real. Like it's real. Cartoon thinking, humor, and problem solving connected visually with, coming to you live from Holland, which is so cool. We have the absolutely freaking delightful Jacobien here with us today. So take it away, my lovely.
Oh, thank you so much, Beth. That is what I might love the best from American way of style of communication. It's so warming, and I feel so welcome. So thank you so much, and it's really an honor being here. Because last year I was also on the schedule, also on the program, but everything changed. But actually, it saved my life. It saved my professional life because I could have a different start in how to perform trainings and how to transform into an online trainer. And that's a skill I will never leave. That will always be part of me. So thanks Corona for that, but also thank you for the way we got connected online, because it makes a lot of things possible. So how is everybody? I see a lot of video on of the video off. Well, that's fine by me, but I really would like to see one shot of everybody, because I want to ask, and then you can all leave that video off. But give me one. I have one question with a hand, and that is, we are going to look from a cartoonist perspective. How comfortable do you feel doing that? I mean, if you have like a 1, it's like, oh no, why am I here? And 5's like, yeah, give me a pen and paper and I'll do that. So what is that? Going 5, I see Patrick at 1. I see a lot of, a 10, Georgina, thank you. And a 3, Leo, a 1. We're going to solve that. Perhaps it's going to be a 0, but then you're okay too. Then you know how to be back on the 1. Well, nice. Thank you so much. Let's get started. My work is with visuals, so I'm drawing, and I use this little friend for that. In a minute, you will see why. And I have a PowerPoint, so I'll be switching on and off just to make sure everybody can see the best of, cartoon thinking as I can ever present. If you have any questions, just put it in chat or unmute yourself. Any question will help someone else as well, so don't be shy to ask questions. Are we set up, Beth? Joelle, are you ready? Good. Then I want to take you with me to where this love of mine for cartoons started. And here you can see, it's a little box that I created about 2.5 years ago. And before I was using markers and drawing, I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry. Now this is Dutch, I'm sorry, I can't give you any English. I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry, and if something is really normal up there, then it's a lot of processing of protocols, instructions, and everything. So a bit of the boring stuff. And I had a bit of an personal implosion when it comes to creativity. So I started drawing, and my first client asked me to create a relational gift, a professional gift for other businesses. And he wanted to tell them about the property they were working in. I was like, how can I connect the fun stuff, the nice stuff of properties with the people working there, living there? So I thought maybe I had to connect the content and the purpose with all these little cartoons. And while doing that, I hope you can see it. So this was a kind of a tour guide. And this was my first assignment. I thought, wow, if I can do more of this, I will be really, really happy, because I can put everything in it. I can put my storytelling. I can put emotion in it. I can put happiness and friendliness in it. I can do anything with content and making it more engaging. So that was my first one, and I thought this is such a nice way to connect creative thinking with vision, with story, with everything. Why is there such a big gap between cartoon consumer people and the cartoonists? So I thought maybe I should develop my own training, and you're now part of that training and part of that product. So I hope I can, well, I hope I can share the joy of creating and looking at the world from a cartoonist perspective. And along the way, we'll do a bit of drawing, we will do a bit of humor, a bit of creative, and a bit of story. So that's what we're going to do. And to start off, I have my PowerPoint. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh no, not a PowerPoint, but luckily, with this kind of job, I can only have pictures presenting to you, except for the first page. Let me see if this is, yes, here we are. Beth, are we okay, or Joelle?
You're good.
Yes, good. So we're going to have a look at what and why, basic techniques, and how to apply it. And you just got to do it, right? Now, we all have our own cartoon memories. I mean, this is such a great way for children to connect the visual with the verbal language. A lot of people will say, oh no, my kids can't read any cartoons or comics, but it's actually, I think, still more thinking, it's such a great way to enrich a visual world and connect it to our more verbal world. Now, put in the chat, I'd like to know from you, because especially because we're such a varied international crowd, what is your cartoon memory? What's the cartoon you really enjoyed reading or watching or looking when you were young? And Joelle, I hope you can help me out with the chat and read them. See what kind of, what's in there.
We've got lots of good ones. Calvin and Hobbes, Garfield, Donald Duck, Archie, Mad Magazine, Deansbury Farside, Dragon Ball Z, Richie Rich, the Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, another Calvin and Hobbes. Nobody said SpongeBob yet. That one's really special to me, and all my friends get those right. Like, that one really connects people. Snoopy, Scooby-Doo, lots of great ones.
Yeah, lots of, and also the ones that stick to you when you're older, when then you still get a bit of a, oh, that was that. I still want to have a Snoopy sweater. Still, it's a guilty pleasure I have. And this one is the Jan Jans en de Kinderen. That's really a Dutch one, but it's kind of a modern family, well, just doing the usual stuff and making that very funny. Now, normally when we grow up, we have like this one, the Glasbergen cartoons, and we use it in the newspaper, and that's really the cartoon as we know it in the words. But Dilbert is as well, and what you can see with Dilbert, it's like a 3-frame cartoon, so it's actually more of a story. And if you go to the stories, you go into you become more of you get more into the range of the comic novels. And that's a whole other ball game. That's like the ball game with the stories being told and the elaborate drawing going on. Now, and this is actually, if we look at the world, then the manga comics are a different, really a different kind of comic. It's such art. It's so elaborate. I really invite you to take a look at the manga comics, because they have so much depth going on, and it's a really real beautiful way of expressing visually and also in terms of story. But this is also a cartoon. This is a Belgian cartoonist, and he's actually an artist. He's really an art form is more rare, but it's just as common in a way as doing it just for the communication or for fun. And of course we have the caricature, and this is more, you have to take a look at it. I'm not a big fan of caricature because it tells less of a story, but it's with great, looking at the way it's being drawn, it's really awesome how they can keep the position or recognizable, identifiable characteristics of a person, and still, well, put emphasis on strange aspects of the face, and keep it, well, you can still see that this is who's this one? Rolling Stones, of course. But we're talking about this one frame with an image telling a short story with humor. And it's actually quite a creative exercise to create such a thing. And if you look at more the American way of cartoon drawing, then you'll see that superheroes are a big part of the cartoons being presented, which I like. It's funny, but still, it's really, you get to know a persona in a way. So it's very good material for fun and story. But we also know the incidents that can be caused by an impactful, powerful cartoon like this one. And I don't know if you know the story in France where Charlie Hebdo, a journal, they make very satirical cartoons. And sometimes people get, well, angry and do things you really don't want them to do. But it also emphasizes what the power is of such an image, such as a cartoon. And this one, you might wonder, what is the cave paintings doing in a cartoon thinking workshop? Well, actually, these are 14,000 years old. And there's a Frenchman, a French director, film director, and he thought, what are these cave paintings really? Why are they there? And that's a question often asked, but he was looking at it from a different perspective. He put the buffaloes and the little lions and any kind of animal, he put all the pictures next to each other. So the same animal, but in different displays, and he put them next to each other as if it was an animation. And if you make a film out of it, you can actually see that the tail is moving, the whole animal is moving. So actually, this one used to be a sort of an animation. Now you can imagine a family sitting together in a cave. It's cold. It's a bit damp. There's a fire going on, and what do? They tell a story. Now the storyteller used to put his torch, and when the story needed some extra visual, he would make the torch swim around in the cave. So all these animals came to life. So actually, this is one of the first animated visuals you can find in the world. I have a link, so I'll put it through in the chat later on, and you can see it yourself. Now, of course, there's some history going on when it comes to cartoons. This is Napoleon cutting the world in half to make sure he's got the big piece of land for himself. And this one is out of 1962. It actually represents a forecast of how the world would look like in 2022. And last year, when Corona entered the world, a lot of people took this picture as someone who could show the world in 2020, but from the position of someone in 1962, so 50 years later, 60 years later. And he was right in a way. We are living in a kind of a bubble and not really being in contact due to Corona. So it was a nice display at the time. Now, I would like to know what you love as a cartoon. We've got Love Is, we have kind of other cartoons. Please let me know in the poll, which one do you like, A, B, C, or D? And put in the chat why. So what is it you like about it? Joelle, do you have any information already on the chat? Oh,
Yep, got lots of good ones. Oh, sorry. I have some oh, I've got the polling launched, and someone said C because it was funny, A because it's really cute and adorable, A because it's simple and warm, hard to choose, but D hilarious, D revenge humor. Lots of people are having trouble choosing. D for the dogs. Oh, it might be something my dogs think. Yeah.
Equalizer for the dog. Yeah, there's a lot of people like the animals being part of a cartoon. It makes it more distant and yet more tangible and identifiable. So I see a lot of D going on there. Nice. And a bit of A, B, and C. Well, the funny thing with A is that it's a true story. It's a true love story. So Kim, the girl, actually existed, and the boy, Robert, he is from Italy, and the girl is from New Zealand, and they met in Los Angeles, and they fell in love. And for her to express what she felt for him, she made these kind of doodles. And when they had to break up physically, he went to England. He put those doodles, as you can, well, you could put them like that. He sent them to the newspaper, and they got published. So that's the story. And this is in the late 60s, 1960s. And they really, well, that's how the story went. But they didn't live that long, by the way. He died when he was 37, leaving her with his unborn child. So it's actually a love story. And maybe that's why it's such a good cartoon, because she really expresses her love for him. And it's probably transferred through the visuals, through the cartoons. But that's love is. The rest of it is more new and more everything like that. So thank you for sharing what you did. Now let me see if we have the next one. Yeah, now let's do a bit of drawing. I'm going to stop sharing. And I want you to I hope everybody has pen and paper with him or her. And now I want you to make a self-portrait, but then with your eyes closed. So make a self-portrait with your eyes closed, and it can be within 1 minute, but I think you can do a self-portrait with your eyes closed. That's a good warm-up for the morning. Yeah, if you dare to take a look, then take a look, because this is the best you will do. No, this is just a start. Yeah, Pam, let me show me. That's a good one. You made one outline. Wow. See how beautiful everybody is. There, I only see beautiful beauties. Marilyn, thank you. That's a great one. You took the whole paper. Now, what I want you to do, the day is bright and shiny and early in your case. Put with it, as if you are telling the world what you would like to do or experience today. So write down next to it, above it, what do you want to do or experience today? As if you say something to someone. So I would like to do, or I'm going to do, I want to experience. And Joelle put it in the chat. I'm going to Sipsy, says Beth. You are already. Oh, Sipsy. Now you can make a speech bubble if you want to. That makes it even more personal. And before we go to the breakout room, because that's going to be the next step in this exercise, is when you are in the breakout room, you all are going to present what you want to do experience and what your picture is. And I want you to choose one of the three and tell, then think together about 5 to 10 things you can come up with that will really make it impossible for that to happen. And then think of a headline of tomorrow's newspaper, a catchy headline that you can put above it to explain, this is a story. I want to know more about the story. So if I give you an example, today I want to have so much fun doing this training, this workshop. And then I thought everything that could go wrong. I could be in the wrong time zone. My internet could fall out. I could have something between my teeth or anything. And my headline for tomorrow's newspaper could be like Dutch foreigner got stuck in time zone while catching the online training. Now I want you to find together a catchy headline for one of the pictures that you can come up with. Is everybody clear on the exercise? Hopefully it's still morning, so it shouldn't be too tough.
Sorry,
Pam?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yes, of course. So you'll be in a breakout room with 3 people, and then just pick one of the pictures with something you want to do. So let's say Deborah wants to go shopping today. Now think together of about 5 to 10 things that make it really impossible for that to happen. That's a bit of a story. Now, we don't want to go into that story, but you can use it to think of a catchy headline. So to think of the headline, and I want you to come up together with a headline that starts the story that's untold. Does that give you an answer? Yeah, I think we can go, Joelle, for the breakout room. Welcome back, everybody. Now you might be surprised, why did we do this exercise? Well, I'll tell you. You made a drawing. You thought of something you wanted to do. We created a problem in a way that what is making this unhappen, making it not happen. And you added humor in a way that you made it narrative. You added a narrative by the newspaper headline. And that's exactly what a cartoonist needs to do. That's his job or her job. Now, I wonder, what was your experience together, doing this together? Does anyone want to share? We needed more time, Christy says. Still waking up so slowly. I'm so sorry, I just banged this exercise. Well, you're awake now, aren't you? Oh, I can see that, Pam. So does anyone, besides waking up, does have any experience, would want to share anything of their experience together? It's good, Jacobien. It's good. What is good? Well,
I saw Marilyn go like this, so
then we're going to continue. Well, so you experienced, in a nutshell, what a cartoonist needs to do. He needs to find a way to connect everything in a different way, so it's becoming engaging, and it makes you be a curiosity. It brings your curiosity.
I think there's a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Renee, do you have a question? Your hands
No,
up.
actually, I wanted to share if you were still.
Oh, tell me. Sorry, Renee, I overlooked.
Give me one more second to write in. Okay, so our group had a latecomer and we kind of all just ran out of time, but this is what I came up with. This is my self-portrait, and it was intentionally not left open on the side, but that's what got me thinking. So I wrote, I wanted to let in new ideas, but they kept leaking out.
That's a good one. You really used the picture, the illustration to get your ideas flowing. That's a very good one. I like it, Renee. Thank you for sharing, because this is for other people as well. This is part of the associating flexible thinking you need. But let's continue with my PowerPoint, and then we'll continue with in this case, the gossiping ladies. Let me see if I can get it on. And I think we can conclude, at least that's my conclusion, and I hope you agree with me. And if not, please let me know in the chat, that the power of a cartoon is created by a perfect mix of emotion, context, and meaning. And it's just communicated by a simple visual. That's all. And we make a big thing about drawing or humor or anything. But this is such a nice way. And I think that's the power of why people like to consume cartoons, because it's it makes things so accessible in a nice way. And the good thing is that any topic can be used for a cartoon, whether it's the milk is gone, or you want to talk about the more serious stuff in life. Especially when something is out of the ordinary, it becomes interesting to put it as a central theme or topic subject in your cartoon. Now I see some chats coming in. Joel, do you know? Oh, here. Oh, seeing all these cartoons makes me happy. What a great way to start Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday already.
Oh, there's a question from Ed. He asks if there are any tech tools for participants to make cartoons in workshops or scribbles.
I don't understand the question. Could you repeat them again?
Are there any tech tools for participants to make cartoons in workshops or scribbles? If there's, I mean, we could open it up to Ed to explain a little bit too.
Ed, please explain with your question. I can interpret it.
Yeah. And I think Beth already, thanks Beth, I think she mentioned pickles. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I try to do, and I haven't cracked the nut yet on that, it's how can you get participants to just scribble, start drawing? And maybe it's as simple as grab a piece of paper and pen. But anything, you know, I like the idea of bringing it more to life and having a cartoon show up on the screen as they are scribbling. So anyways, wanted to know, open it to the group if there's any other tools for for participants to scribble or start drawing, because I think that's a really powerful exercise, even for visualization and coming up with new ideas. But I haven't seen.
Do you mean the online ways of scribbles? Oh, here, Tony Tools, just Googled.
Correct.
I think that's a really good, I didn't know that, the Tony tool, but I think you can look into that. Does it give you enough answer? Because I'm not, what I don't like about the online ways of scribbling and doodling is that there's a certain, you get a bit of a shaky way of picturing things. So I never use them. I kind of use just by myself. But I love this Tony tool, and I'm going to get into it as well. So thank you for the tip. Does that question give you an answer to the question you had?
Yeah, absolutely. I got two already. So thank you. Pickles.
Good. Thank you for asking as well. So, well, out of the ordinary, we are living in an extraordinary world right now, and you can see that with all the cartoons and all the memes and every kind of visualization that has a bit of humor in it. And here you see some of the examples. So it actually, love the toilet paper guys. Yeah, that was a thing in Holland. I don't know in America if it was such a thing as well, but in Holland all the toilet paper was gone the first month of and if you look at this cartoon, you can actually see how simple the illustration is. It's just a couple of lines, but the thing is, they are well, they just put the right lines in the right position towards each other, and that's what we're going to have a look at in the next one. But first, what we often hear is that 1,000 words or a picture tells you more than 1,000 words, and in a way, I think everybody's right with this one, but I think we should let them work together, because what a communication power does make that happen if you put word and visual together. And actually a cartoon is exactly that. It makes work of the visual, and it uses the words, the verbal part, and puts it together. And that's how it works, really. That's how it creates magic. And I think a cartoon as a communication form makes use of that way. So we could come up with this definition. I mean, I came up with it because no one else does somehow. But I think this is at least one that really does it for me. A creative approach to a problem or challenge wrapped in words and image together with a big bow around it we call humor. And most of the times we'll put a problem or a challenge, we will put it just right in front of you and say, here, this is the problem, deal with it. But with a cartoon, you can actually make that more accessible. I mean, you really want to wrap up a present, don't you want to? And then it's fine if there's a problem in it. I mean, the wrapping was already nice. It makes it more accessible. But the problem is still there. And but it's just more fun to work with it or to look at it. So it's an image, it's creative thinking, it's humor, and it's a story. And those 4 domains we're going to touch upon this morning. Well, we already are doing that. But let's first go with the mindset we need. See, there's a basic mindset. We ask ourselves, what is and what if? So what is happening right now, and what if we would look at it this way, or what if we would look at it that way? And questions ignite the magic of cartoons. So any question you have today is the only relevant questions are what is and what if. And then you're good, then you're fine, because everything will happen from that position onwards. And it only takes 1 line, and that's the drawing part. Now, the basic skills you need are to communicate, and you can change sketch into communication, in storytelling, and anything, but you only need your imagination and the way you perceive things with your senses. And that's the magic combination. So the imagination is all about what if, and what is being answered by what do I feel, what do I sense, what do I hear, what do I see? And those 2 combined, they help you create anything. Now, if we look at the image part, a lot of people are scared about drawing. They lose that around the age of 7 when school comes in and says, okay, that's not how we wanted you to draw. And that's such a shame. This little doodle you see on the left side, that's the first Love Is cartoon. It's made in 1967. And on the right side, you'll see the first Snoopy ever published, Snoopy in 1952. And you can see that these characters haven't been, they are still evolving. They are still, they are still being created. And so every cartoonist is, well, they get acquainted with their own characters. It's an evolution. So give yourself some time if you haven't ever produced a cartoon character, because even the best known characters have evolved. And Jim Davies, who's the creator of Garfield, he says it really simple. If you can draw a circle, you can draw Garfield. And just take a look with your perceiving eye at the picture of Garfield, and you only see curved lines. It's only curved lines which you see. Now you can do that too. So let's pick up pen and paper, and Joy, I hope you can pin my camera, because then you can draw along with me. Now I want you to make a big C on your left side of your paper. And my pen is not really hope this one will do better. Big C. Oh, here we go. And now make 2 little 6s above it, and you can fill up the belly of the 6, just like this if you want to. And above it, you can put 3 straight lines. And maybe your brain is going like, hey, this looks like, or this is going to be. Oh, you can also postpone that thought and just see what happens. Now make a flipped little C on the other side of the big C. And a nice smooth line going down. A swoosh under the big C. You know the swoosh, Nike? iconic shape. And we need half an oval over here and two straight lines on each side. And now take a look at what you just sketched. And the nice thing, if you look at what everybody made, and I'm going to remove my spotlight because I want you to see everybody showing off their picture, and you can see that everybody made it different. It's got a slight difference in everything. And still we did the same exercise, and everybody created a different kind of look and feel. Now take a look at that, and then you can see a couple of important stuff. Let me see if I can pin myself. Yeah, there we go. You can see up here, there's nothing, or well, there was nothing, but still our brain makes up everything to understand that this is about a male figure. And it doesn't even have a chin or a forehead. It just has, well, a bit of the other lines. So our brain is used to filling up the gaps when a picture is presented. That's really a very good thing of our brain. It can do that. It has the ability to fill in the gaps. And it helps us to survive in this world, first of all, but it helps us when we are drawing things that we don't need to put reality into it. We just create an illusion. And if you do that, if you know how to do that, then you don't need so many lines to just represent a recognizable image. And if you look at it, another thing, it's that we only use straight or curved lines. Everything you draw is a combination of straight and curved lines in a certain position towards each other. And to form something that your brain is like, oh, I recognize what you mean. I know that. Now, I'll show you what happens if you want to add different kind of look and feel with the hair. I'm going to create a bit of a Maggie Simpson kind of haircut. And I don't know about you, but now the nose and the hair is not a great combination. Reminds me of Bob Ross teaching. Yeah, it does. And he's a really big example of how to make things accessible. But if you are on with me, then I don't want this combination. I don't like it. It's like, well, my brain is like, ow, that hurts. So I'm going to change the nose in a different look and feel, a more straight one. And you can see now that the character is changing by a change of different lines. And now this section here is, it just doesn't work. It's like, I don't want that. I'm going to put the mouth more up, a different proportion. And I want to have a straight one, a bit of a, well, a grumpy person. Well, yeah. And I want to have her chin. And a small neckline. And then I'm going to remove, because I don't need to have this one. I can just close the hair and I'm fine. You know, you can make it easy on yourself when it comes to drawing. Now, this is the part where you have to understand, well, where you just have to agree with me. Drawing is about putting the right lines in the right position towards each other, to make it recognizable for people, for someone else. And it's a skill, so you need to have a bit of, well, you need to use it. You need to try it out for yourself in order to understand, to get a look and feel it with it. Now, something else is going on with drawing, with cartoon figures, and that's emotion. And a lot of people are just find it difficult to see how to add emotion to a picture. I'm going to show you how you can tell a story with only a couple of changes in your line, and you can draw with me. Now, first of all, you can start with the outline of the face. And here I made a round circle, which is always one of the friendliest ways to create a face is roundness. But if you would turn it, you would actually get a, well, this is not that good, but I'll show you later on with, if if you put a face more oval in the vertical position, you get a different shape and it gives you access to a different kind of character. This is like Bert and Ernie. That's the magic of that. But let's just take a look at Ernie because he is, in my opinion, he's the funny guy. Let's make it a little boy with this hairline, and we're going to find out how we can add emotion in a very quick and easy way. Now think of a boy, he just made a bit of a, well, he made his mother angry. She's like, okay, I don't want you to do this. I want you to go to your room. And he's like, no, I'm not going. And she's like, yes, you are. You are going to your room and you're going to think about what you just said to me. You didn't say something, you said something really unkind. I want you to think about it. So he goes up to his room and he sits out and he sees his friends playing outside. And he's like, I'm not there, I'm here. And I have to think about what I just did wrong. I don't want that. No. So he starts to think and he gets a bit of a droopy look and feel in his eyes. You know, the sixes going on here, and even more so. It gets a bit of a shimmer in it. And when he's thinking more clearly, he's like, I don't want to be here. He gets the goggly eyes. And the goggly eyes are getting sadder and more sad. And he even starts to cry a bit. Now that looks sad, doesn't it? But what if this little guy is not sad, but just laughing his brains out? And what if it's not a little guy, but a little girl with freckles on her face? And isn't that a cute one? So with a couple of lines, you can add so much more than just a face. You can actually tell a story. And that's everything you do with cartoons. You use a face, you give it expression, you give it a bit of character. You add some characteristics and you tell a story with it. And you can do that too. For example, you could start with the outline, as I did, but you can also start with the nose and add some simple eyes to above it, ears, a big chin, and like that.
I'm hearing in the chat that this is so cool, and I definitely agree. I'm loving this.
Well, that's so nice to hear, because it's always, it's more easy than you think. But if you want to step up the level and step up the game, you just got to do it. And well, put the next one to it. You can also look a bit to the right side, you know, have a bit of this one and look up here. So here we start again with the nose. And so let's give it a more like, well, we can do anything with it rather. This is more like a dandy, more look of, and he's looking this way. You see how that changes the way he looks at the world. You can do different things with it. And it's just a couple of lines. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to take you with my PowerPoint again, because, well, Jim Davies is right, isn't it? If you can draw a circle, you can draw Garfield. You just have to know where to put the lines and in what kind of position towards each other. And if you take a look at the shapes that cartoonists use, it's quite simple. It's a square or a cloud or a triangle. Fido Dido is the best example for just a triangle. or Charlie Schultz with here with a very round face. And look at the hands. It's actually kind of a wave. If you start to perceive these things, then it's more easy to apply it yourself. And that's what it is, using the right set of lines placed together in the right position and the right proportions to form an image that the viewer can relate to. Now it's up to you to take a couple of minutes, let's say a couple of 5 minutes, and try to out of your imagination. So use your perceiving eye. You know, online meetings are really a very good source of perceiving information, because you can look right at the frontal face of people and just give it a look. Where are the eyes? Where are they moving? What does make the emotion flow from the face? So put your things together and try to make your own character. Try to make your own face. And Pam is saying Charles Schultz is a St. Paul, Minnesota native. That's true. He was our pride and joy here in Minnesota. I read about him. He's really interesting. Actually, Snoopy was his own dog. So, but take a moment to create your own cartoon figure and see what comes out of your hands. See what is possible. And don't be too hard on yourself. It's those hands, maybe, well, they didn't make a drawing for probably 20 years. Give them some time. It's still morning. Ed says, for some reason, I've been making the same cartoon for years now. Oh, could you elaborate more on that, Ed? I wonder what kind of cartoon you're making.
Yeah, for sure. And this is, I love cartoons, and I've been doing scribbles since forever now. And it's interesting that you started with shapes, because I had one of those, things that like comes with different types of circles that you can trace. So
Yeah.
I would start making cartoons with that. But for some reason, I've always been making the same cartoon, which again, it's a bunch of lines, and but it's just a face, and it, come to realize that it's my face today. So I've been making, that cartoon forever now. And it's interesting. I sort of perfected over the years, but it's the same one. It's the same one I drew this more like in the icebreaker, I guess, exercise that you did.
I somehow also hear a bit of a longing to upgrade your cartoon figure. Did I listen correct to that?
Yeah. I mean, I hopefully I do way too much PowerPoint for my own sanity in my line of work. So I'm hoping that one day I could just draw cartoons on slides, and that becomes my presentation.
That's a good one. Well, what might help you is to look at other cartoons and just perceive how the lines are, in what proportions they are, how the nose is being created. That can help you. Oh, Ed, you're sharing. Nice. Let me put you on the pin. You have a background on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So I've always done it that way, I guess. There we go. Kind of. There you go.
Now I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to ask you. There's a white paper that I'm going to share with you. Well, not right now, but at the end of the presentation. And one exercise is that you put different kind of positions of the face, and just try to make your cartoon figure more. Well, you can try to make your own portfolio of the same character. I'm going to invite you to do that. Thanks for sharing, Ed.
No worries.
So,
Jacobien, somebody asked if you could put the
yeah, I'm going to put the share. Of course I am. This is the best way. We unlearn at school to look at other people's work. But this is actually one of the ways you can improve yourself, is by looking at other artists, looking at other cartoonists. and looking at each other and just try to find out what kind of aspect you want to include in your own drawing, and try that out and see what works best. Joel, is there some question coming in? Oh no.
No new questions.
No, only for Ed. Ed, everybody says you're awesome, and that's very cool what you did. I think so too. I think you should put this in your pocket and just upgrade your level and go for it. Thank you, will do. I hope you, I want to show it. I want you to show it to everyone when you're ready for that. So take a couple of minutes more, and then we're going to find out what about creative thinking and story. And meanwhile, maybe you could already, because we're going to try that one, it's an easy one, create a or draw a your impression of a coronavirus. So draw your impression of a coronavirus. We're gonna have a bit of a make fun of the coronavirus. It's easy. And while you try drawing, you might hear those voices. Oh, it's not good enough. Oh, it's not pretty. Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't look like anything. Well, just hush them and say, I'm going to try. Whatever you tell me. So let's wrap up the drawing. And if you haven't been able to draw a cartoon of just a form of the coronavirus, take 1 minute that's left, and then we'll continue to the next part of cartoon thinking. Are we supposed to draw coronavirus now? Yes, Pam, thank you very much. Just see what comes out. If you can think of a visual of the coronavirus, and then think, which lines make a coronavirus? And most of the times it's a circle, and you have those little spikes going out there. Maybe you want to put feet or legs and some feet to it. Maybe you want to give it some hands or arms, or maybe you want to give it a facial expression that he's really a grumpy little guy or girl. Maybe you want to create a happy virus. Oh, Joelle, she made a grumpy virus. Oh, mean one, I think. Joelle, what did you do? Joelle made a mean little virus. Let's see, was everybody? Oh, Kelsey did too. And I see Pam, that's a good one. I like how you did that. And I see Lois. Lois, did I? Not good. Oh, he has a turtle on his head. Marilyn, I like yours. That's a big mouth with small eyes. And there, Fern. Oh, he could be in a ghost house. How do you call it? The spooky one. Very spooky one. And a Christmas one. You are really not friends with the coronavirus, are you? Is there anyone who created a happy virus? Anyone? Oh, Pam, you did. Yeah, you did. That's a different way of looking at it. So in this, that's the freedom a cartoonist can take. He can create a happy virus if he wants to. So if anyone wants to share about his drawing experience, I wonder, or put it on the chat if you want to. Oh, my coronavirus mission was to make everybody draw wash his hands. So if anyone wants to express what they experienced during the drawing of a cartoon figure. I make drawings on my phone, Marcia says. That's a nice one. How do you do that, with your fingers? I never do that. It doesn't work with me. Oh, here,
Oh,
Marcia shows
cool.
it. Nice. What you do? How you do that? Do you use Procreate for that? Which app do you use, Marcia?
Marcia, do you want to hold it up again too?
Yeah.
Got it spotlighted for everybody to see.
Oh, nice. I like it. They're very kind illustrations. Good one. Nice to see it.
It's Google Keep.
Can you put it in the chat, Marcia, which app you use?
Mhm.
Yep. To create a COVID cartoon. They're very well. So let's move on. We're almost in time. We're almost there. Oh, it's so quick. But we have the cartoon creative thinking. And well, I know we are with a bunch of people who are, in my opinion, really into creative thinking. So I hope I can add my cartoon creativity definition. It's when observation or perceiving and imagination are in flow with each other and explore paths together that lead to new possibilities, insights, and or solutions. So when you have your own perceiving skills and your imagination put together and then make it a party, make them go in flow and see what happens then. Well, that's what I like about cartoons. If you put a bit of context and you combine it with what could have happened or what if, and then what's going to happen, what's the result, and that make that into a drawing. Now, then we can do some flexible association. We could ask questions. We could delay our interpretation of our own judgment. We could add a bit of critical thinking. So all those things will help you to become a more of a cartoonist, looking at the world and seeing all opportunities to put things together. Usually a cartoonist puts things together that are not, well, that are unexpected. You just made a coronavirus, didn't you? I want you to ask yourself, what kind of topic in your life or in the world could use a bit of creative humor, a cartoonist look at? So, for example, I always use the iPhone. I have a bit of a hate feel look with the iPhone. So I could use that as a topic that I would like to look at with a cartoonist perspective. So what is it with you? Name a topic that you would like to combine with the coronavirus. Just any topic will do. And write it down. So you have the coronavirus on the one hand, and you have, well, for example, iPhone or climate change or work or anything. Just put one thing on your paper. Joelle, I can't see the chat. Perhaps you can help me. I think someone put something on the chat.
Oh, I just put the question.
Oh, good, good. So now you've got 2 words. And then the question is, how are we going to link them together with humor? And then we need a bit of creative thinking. And one of my favorite guys when it comes to creativity is this one. This is Massimo Bottura, and he's a big chef in Italy. He makes these really beautiful dishes. And one of them is a lemon tart. Now just imagine the taste of a zingy lemon tart. And it's refreshing. It's a really good dessert to round off your meal. It's really sweet, it's tangy, it's zingy, it's smooth, it's anything, and it's cradled with a thin pastry crust. and topped with gooey meringue. Now, can you imagine this little dessert put in front of you? Wouldn't it be a delight, even in the morning? Now, this little dessert, there was only one in the restaurant. And the sous chef was bringing that one dessert to the door so it could be brought to the customer. And on his way, he dropped the lemon tart. But any chef looking at that would be like, oh my God, you just ruined my last dessert. That's, He did something else. He looked at it and he looked again and he saw his new signature dish. Oops, I dropped my lemon tart. It's now as one of the big favorite desserts on his menu. And the only reason it was one of his new inventions is because he could look at it from a creative perspective. And I haven't been in his restaurant yet. I mean, for me, it's really more easy to get there than from you in America. But if I get there, I'll let you know how it tasted. But he's my big hero when it comes to creative thinking. And he must have a big portion of humor. And that's where we're going now. But first, I want you to get a look at the words you just put on your paper. In my case, I would put Corona on one hand and iPhone on the other. And I want you to put, for each word, I want you to think of 20, try 20, associations you can come up with that make, which you can, like iPhone, I'm like a lot of updates. There is a ring every time I don't want that. So make 20 associations for the one thing and 20 for the other thing. It's called the listing technique, and it's used a lot with the stand-up comedy to find humor. But it's actually a creative exercise in a way that's brainstorming is the same. So think of the words that you come up with when you think of Corona as think of words that you come up with the other words, and then write them down. The more the better, and it doesn't have to be really good ones. It just needs to be on your paper. So take a couple of minutes and just put everything you can come up with on your paper. So did everybody come up with a couple of words? Yeah, okay. So you've got coronavirus, and what other words did you find, topics did you come up with? Put it in the chat. So hands, guilt, passwords, emails, house cleaning. I see gardening. Now we're going to use this one to connect Corona, to make a bit fun of Corona. If we could use to have a bit of fun with the coronavirus, I think. It's also very useful, a very easy one to do, even more than you think so. And to do so, we need to take a look at what is humor. And now I know yesterday there was someone who told a bit about humor. So I hope I can add something to it, or I can have a bit of a rewind with it. What I really like is what Jerry Seinfeld says. He says there's always a joke. You just got to find it. So humor is not so much about something you have or you have not. It's not. Yes, it is a talent, of course. One is more easy and fluent with humor, and the other way, someone is less fluent with that. But you just have to look at for it. You just have to pay attention for what is humor and what is not. And I like William James, and I know he's from America in the 1800s, 1900s, psychiatrist. And he says, common sense and a sense of humor are the same thing, moving at different speeds, and a sense of humor is just common sense dancing. Now, isn't that the cutest way to look at humor? It's such a nice way, humor and dancing connected. I can also understand why people are a bit shy when it comes to humor, because you can see yourself dancing, but perhaps it feels naked if you're the only one dancing. You need other people. You need other people to do the same with you, to have, well, to ask you to dance or to dance with you. And that's the same with humor. You can have humor for yourself. I mean, you can giggle at something, and I can have a lot of, well, humor in my mind going on, and then I have to laugh aloud, and then everybody's like, "Okay, what are you laughing about?" But then I was just dancing in my head. But this is a nice way. You need other people to create humor together. And there are some, it's actually very easy. Humor occurs when the unexpected happens, right at the moment you expect it the least. So it never comes as an acceptable level of surprise. Well, this is a very difficult one in English. It's always a situation where you expect something to happen and the unexpected occurs. That's where the humor is. And it must have an acceptable level of surprise. Otherwise, you will like, okay, what's going on here? Or you will like, I don't like this. So there must be a balance between the unexpected and the expected. And that's where humor occurs. Now, sarcasm, it's about the difference in humor is always about the difference in looking at your worldview. Like with sarcasm, it's a bit like morale, is that how I pronounce it? Um, you you point out something you think is wrong, or you point at something that you think is not the right way to do things, and you make a bit of fun out of it. Some people can be offended with it, especially when it comes to satire. That's actually a very angry way of humor.
There's something in the
but
chat from Mike saying that maybe that explains why common sense is not common at all, because we're not indulging sense of humor with each other enough.
yeah, I think that's so true. I think that's so true. Maybe you need them both, but there needs to be more balance with it, I guess. I think that's what he wants to address, isn't it? I think so. Well,
Yeah, I think so.
satire is actually a really angry way of looking at the world. It's like the world has gone mad and it's never going to, it's never going to be normal ever again. But that's a kind of humor you really need to address things that are overlooked or underlooked or put under the table or under the carpet. So satire is really a very healthy way of humor when it comes to systems that don't work. So you see this a lot in political humor and political cartoons. Irony, on the other hand, I like that one. It's a bit of the clumsy humor. It's about something you want one way, but the other way happens. So it's like, I want to help you, but everything I do is, well, making sure I don't help you at all. And then you've got the wittiness. It's about, it's more of a playful way of using words and a playful way of looking at the world. I think it's the most kind way of humor, and it's the most connecting way of humor. And if you use this one, you can, well, you can actually soften up and open up conversations and making sure that people, well, put down their guards and open up to perhaps another way of looking at things. It's the most intelligent way of humor. So it's probably more that it's kind with words and narrative and context and playing a bit more. So in other words, humor plays with common sense and challenges you to question what you know, to ask questions about it, and to picture an unexpected, surprising perspective. You can do that by using the opposite, or to make something really big or really small, or to add another frame. And it's not that humor is something that's part of the end goal. It's just a way of how to communicate an idea you want to present. For example, the North Pole, this Santa, this is like putting two frames together. On one hand, you've got the polar bear. He's just drifting on one of those glacial, well, pieces, and Santa's coming home. And what this is actually is going about is the climate change. And if you dig deeper, then you can ask yourself, what can we tell our children if the North Pole doesn't exist anymore? Then the story of Santa is going to change. What are we going to tell our children? So if you look at it on a superficial way, it's kind of funny, but it represents an idea that's less funny, and still it invites you to think about something like that. And it does that by putting two frames together. Now I see some chat coming in. Joelle, can you help me out here? Oh, Pam is going to have to run. Well, Pam, thank you for joining. So let's look at our listings. We have, on the one hand, we have, you probably have the corona, and on the other hand, you have another topic. And what you can do, and this is done by a lot of the comic, the artists on comedians, they just construct humor. So they say, hey, corona, you are just like an iPhone. Oh, I'm going to put it in the chat. iPhone. You always reinvent yourself. You always reinvent yourself. You can do that too. You can look at your list and find out what connects one thing with the other, and then construct it in the way that I just put on there. Here you go. Hey, corona. Oh, I see I have a typo. You are just like climate change, or working at home. You ... So find yourself, how can you combine them? Here we go, Beth. Hey, corona, you are just like an iPhone. Your updates make everything worse. That's really good. Now put it, Beth, put it with your corona and you've got a cartoon. Hey, corona, you're just like scissors. You like to keep everything separate. That's so true. Hey, corona, you are just like an email. You are really time consuming. That's true too. So could you just put it with your, put it out there with your coronavirus, and you actually created a cartoon. Now you might think, no, that's not a good cartoon. It's not funny enough, etc. But it doesn't matter. You made a statement. Howdy, corona, you are like a stone. You are too hardy for my liking. Nice one. I see it, people thinking. Just let your imagination flow. Let them dance. Let corona dance with an iPhone and see where they meet each other. Hey, corona, congratulations on your genocide graduation. I like that one. That's a bit of sarcasm / satire. Hey, corona, you are just like house cleaning. You are annoying and never ending. That's so true. And did I miss someone? Hey, corona, you are just like a leaky marker. You get all over my finger and no one will shake hands with me. That's so true. So if you put it down and make a frame around it, or even leave out the frame, you've got yourself a cartoon. Hey, corona, you are just like some of my teachers. I hate you, but I always learn something new. I love that one, because it also brings some new insights, doesn't it? At least for me, it did. I like how you come up with everything. So humor is just part of it, but it's also a story. And this is the New Yorker, and the New Yorker has about 1,500 cartoons per week are sent in for the New Yorker to be published, and only 15 are published a week. So you can imagine how much humor, how much image, how much cartoons are out there and never seeing the light of day. But if you look at it, they have this illustration, an image, and a narrative around under it. But it does actually tell you a story with a setting, with personas, perspectives, and a plot or punchline. Here you go. Here you have the setting, a dressing room. Here you have the personas, husband and wife, I guess. And here's the punchline. And the punchline tells you a bit more about the situation, about the story, and about what can happen and how do they feel together. What's this relationship? And what they do with the New Yorker is they have a lot of illustrations and they have a battle. So they have the same illustration and then a lot of different narratives are being sent in. So you create a different story and a different setting. Well, the setting is the same, but the story changes, the humor changes. Now, to wrap everything up today, I want you to write the narrative down for this cartoon. So make it a complete story. What's happening here? I see a bit of a dragon. He looks in a kind of way at the lady sitting at the desk. Probably the author. Meet the author at 2 p.m., but perhaps she's not. There are two people behind the dragon, and they carry some books. Now look at the setting. What's going on? Look at the perspectives. Try to find a way to connect with one of the perspectives, and then find a way of how can you complete this story? How can you connect the story with the perspective with what you see? And then write the narrative. Now it's up to you. And Joelle, can you help me out with what's coming in?
Yep. You never cite my quotes. That one's from Beth.
Beth, you're so quick here in this one. Good one.
Dragon, I heard there would be snacks. I've been waiting a very, very long time for this book release.
That's a nice one. He really waited a long time. You never cite my quotes. I love that one, Beth. I think you are really. Oh, oops! I thought it said eat. That's a good one too. Well, you can still eat it, though. My lawyers are here. Defamation. Oh, that's a word I'm not familiar with. Now I'm learning. Could you make that out to author? I dreamed that you would show up today, hurting his reputation. Did you have the plagiarized Jurassic? You are so good at this. And now you can see how much you got my bad side. Oh yeah, that's really the dragon perspective. I appear here personally to appeal to you to change the ending. Please make it happy. I'm tired of tragic endings. I can imagine that. That's the dragon as well. Thank you so much for all your creative stuff here going on. Let me wrap up with the art of cartoon thinking. Do I look extinct? It says, Beth. Well, I think you wrap up it very nicely, Beth, with the cartoon uses humor to reveal what at its core is really serious and important, and it uses the nonsense around it to make that visible. And it tries to make sense of the world, but then in a playful way. And it's up to you now. Don't forget to enjoy the process and make it, well, the result's only important once you finish. Before that, it's not important. And just do it. It's up to you now. So here we are. I took you on a trip through cartoon land. We tried to draw. We made a creative thinking part of it. We looked at humor. We did some creative connection making, and we looked at a story and finished it off with a narrative. Now, you are looking at a cartoonist way of dealing with the world. I see excellent workshop, very inspiring. Well, I hope you enjoyed this way of looking at the world, and maybe you will never make a cartoon yourself, but you might look like a cartoonist at the things that happen to you. Maybe you want to have it to well, maybe you want to have a problem, so you can look at it from a cartoonist perspective. It does make it worthwhile. Thank you so much. I see so many beautiful things coming in. We will miss you until next year. I hope to be there as well. The trip through Cartoonland. Beth, I'm going to I'm going to send the white paper to you. So if you want to take a look at what we did, I have a white paper with cartoons in it. And I hope you will enjoy and make the world a more happy, playful world. That would be great. Thank you all also for the really, really wonderful feedback. And if you have any tips or whatever, please let them know, because everyone, well, helps. It helps everyone. Thank you so much. Beth, can I hand it over to you?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think I love Yardena's quote. This is the best part of CPSI, something I never thought I could do, but you made it possible.
Oh, that's good. That's great to hear.
This was so much fun. It was so delightful. And I'm going to be telling Hey Corona jokes now for so long. Hey Corona, your beer version is better.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But,
you can upgrade yourself in that. You can just grow and structure it the way you want it. It's your way to play with it. Hey, I see someone doing it in Dutch. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Thank you. And thank you all for being so, as usual, the chat is just delightful. People are sharing sources and humor. And I feel like Terrific Tuesday has gotten off to a wonderful start. It's not done. We still have more fun. So come back soon for Mike Ackerbauer's Mindful Agility, Finding Balance, the balance of humor and seriousness maybe. And then this afternoon, Growing Your Confidence and Humility with Lindsay, hope she hasn't given birth yet, Burr, and Liz Monroe Cook. Fingers crossed, people. You're killing me. And then tonight we've got our social event, which is prototyping. We're just gonna build stuff. So, raid the recycling box and get out your tape and staples, and let's just make stuff, because why not? But great day, great start. You promise me you'll be in person next year.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm waiting for that moment. Last year I would have wanted to come as well, but now I'm here.
So many great ideas to incorporate you in. We're gonna do some fun, and Fern's gonna bring her dinosaur.
Nice. I see some dinosaur jokes coming in.